Have you ever wondered what happens when the laws of nature are suddenly rewritten? When predator and prey defy their roles in a moment that defies explanation? Prepare to be amazed by a tale that will challenge everything you thought you knew about the animal kingdom. The midday sun blazed mercilessly over the Serengeti. Heat shimmered in the distance, and the golden sea of grass bent beneath the dry wind. The land pulsed with the rhythm of survival. Zebras kept low, wildebeest huddled in clusters, and vultures traced circles overhead, scanning for weakness. Beneath the shadow of a massive fallen acacia, a golden retriever struggled. His pale coat, once bright, was now dulled by dust and exhaustion. A heavy tree branch pinned his back, pressing against his ribs and forcing his breaths into ragged gasps. The dog's name was Charlie, a 5-year-old retriever who once belonged to a wildlife conservation team in Tanzania. Charlie had not meant to wander this far. Weeks earlier, a supply truck broke down in the middle of the reserve. In the commotion, he slipped away, chasing a strange scent, and before long he was lost in the endless plains. He had survived since then on instinct alone, drinking from shallow pools, scavenging scraps, and avoiding predators at every turn. But now, trapped beneath the branch, even his resilience seemed to have met its limit. He whined, a sound of both pain and fear, his paws scraping helplessly at the dirt. Then came the low, rumbling growl. From the thorn bushes stepped 3 lions, 2 females, lithe and sharp-eyed, and 1 massive male with a thick mane that glowed like bronze in the sunlight. They moved with the slow precision of predators, muscles rippling under their coats, amber eyes fixed on the helpless retriever. Charlie froze. Several hundred meters away, a safari guide named Samuel sat in a jeep with a handful of tourists. He raised his binoculars, heart pounding as he watched the lions close in. "This is it," he muttered under his breath. "That's the law of the wild." The tourists sat rigid in silence. No one doubted what they were about to witness. Trapped dog, 3 apex predators. It could only end one way. But Samuel noticed something unusual. The lead lioness, taller and older than the other, carried an expression that didn't match the hunger of a hunter. Her steps were cautious, her head lowered, her tail swaying, not with aggression but with intent curiosity. The lioness approached Charlie and stopped just short of his muzzle. The retriever whimpered, but did not snap or growl. His eyes, wide with fear, locked onto hers. She sniffed him once, then gave a deep, resonant calla sound Samuel recognized as a maternal tone, one used for cubs. What happened next defied every expectation. Instead of lunging, the lioness bent her head and began swiping smaller branches away from Charlie's body. Her claws, sharp enough to end life in a heartbeat, worked carefully, pulling debris aside. The second lioness joined her, batting away twigs and dry leaves. Finally, the male approached, his massive body casting a long shadow over Charlie. Samuel held his breath. With a single push of his head, the male rolled the heavy branch just far enough for Charlie to wriggle free. The retriever staggered to his feet, limping backward, but he did not run. His chest rose and fell quickly, his eyes fixed on the lions. And then, astonishingly, the lead lioness stepped forward and touched her nose to his. The jeep went silent. Samuel felt his throat tighten. He had worked in the Serengeti for 15 years. But never had he seen lions show compassion to another predator, much less to a dog. From behind the grass, a small movement caught Samuel's eye. A lion cub, no older than a few weeks, peeked out from the thicket. Its fur was still soft, its steps unsteady. Perhaps that was the reason. The pride had lingered because of the cub. And perhaps the maternal instinct that drove the lioness to protect her own had spilled over to Charlie. Whatever the cause, the scene unfolding was one that no textbook could explain. Charlie, trembling, turned his gaze from the lioness to the cub. For a brief, fragile moment, the two young creatures stood side by side, dog and lion. Prey and predator sharing space as equals. Then the great male lion stepped forward. Samuel's heart pounded harder, bracing for the inevitable strike. But instead of killing, the lion lowered his massive head and nudged Charlie gently toward the safety of the taller grass. His mane brushed against Charlie's back like a father guiding a lost child. With that, the lions turned away. The lioness gathered her cub, and together, the pride melted into the golden expanse of the savannah. Charlie lingered, his legs weak, his mind racing with instinct and confusion. Then, slowly, he limped toward the horizon. Hours later, as the sun dipped low and shadows stretched long, he stumbled upon the familiar outline of canvas tents and parked trucks, the conservation camp. Gasps and shouts erupted as the volunteers recognized him. "Charlie," one cried, running forward. The dog collapsed into their arms, his body trembling with both pain and relief. Over the next weeks, Charlie's wounds were cleaned and the bruises along his back healed. His fur grew bright again under the care of those who loved him. But something in his eyes had changed. There was a golden reflection, a memory no human could fully share or comprehend. Days later, Samuel recounted the story to colleagues. They listened in stunned silence. "You're sure?" one asked skeptically. "I saw it with my own eyes," Samuel replied. "The lions freed him. They spared him. They protected him." Skepticism lingered, but Samuel insisted. "Sometimes," he said quietly, "the wild reminds us that the rules we think are carved in stone are not unshakable. Between hunter and hunted, there can still be space for mercy." Charlie never forgot that day, though he could not speak of it. He often stared at the horizon when the winds shifted, as if searching for the pride that had spared his life. And perhaps, somewhere out there, the lioness and her cub remembered too, the day they crossed a boundary no one believed could be crossed. Nature, Samuel would often tell his guests afterward, holds mysteries greater than fear, greater than hunger. Sometimes it even holds compassion. If anyone doubted, he would smile faintly and add, "Then you haven't heard the story of the German shepherd that saved a lion cub from a python." What the mother lion did next was beyond belief.